ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ವೀಕ್ಷಕರೇ. ಮಣಿಪಾಲ್ ರೋಟರಿ ಕ್ಲಬ್ ಅರ್ಪಿಸುವ ವಿಶೇಷ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಸರಣಿ ಸೇವಾ ಸಂಚಯ ರೋಟರಿ ನಿಮಗಾಗಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ತಮಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಆತ್ಮೀಯ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. ವೀಕ್ಷಕರೇ, ಕಳೆದ ಸಂಚಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಆಂಟ್ರಪ್ರಿನರ್ಶಿಪ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ತನ್ನನ್ನು ತಾನು ತೊಡಗಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಹೇಗೆ ಮಹಿಳೆಯೊಬ್ಬಳು ಸಮಾಜಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾದರಿಯಾಗುತ್ತಾಳೆ ಎಂಬುದನ್ನು ತಿಳಿದಿದ್ವಿ. ಅಂತೆಯೇ ಇಂದಿನ ಸಂಚಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೌಟುಂಬಿಕ ವಲಯದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದುಕೊಂಡು ತನ್ನದೇ ಆದಂತಹ ನಿಟ್ಟ ನಿರ್ಧಾರಗಳನ್ನು ತಗೊಳ್ಳುವ ಮೂಲಕ ತನ್ನ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವವನ್ನು ರೂಪಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಮಹಿಳೆಯೊಬ್ಬಳು ಹೇಗೆ ಸಮಾಜಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾದರಿಯಾಗಬಲ್ಲಳು ಎಂಬುದನ್ನು ತೋರಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ವೀಕ್ಷಕರೇ, ಇವತ್ತಿನ ನಮ್ಮ ಸೇವಾ ಸಂಚಯ ರೋಟರಿ ನಿಮಗಾಗಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬರು ಅತಿಥಿಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ನಾವಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ರೂಮಾ ಅಯ್ಯಂಗಾರ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ತಮಗೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ ಮೇಡಮ್. ಇವರು ವ್ಯಾಪಕವಾಗಿ ಪ್ರಯಾಣದ ಅನುಭವವನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿರುವವರು. ತಮ್ಮ 20ರ ಹರೆಯದಲ್ಲೇ ಸಾಹಸಮಯ ಹಾಗೂ ಆಸಕ್ತಿದಾಯಕ ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ಐರೋಪ್ಯ ದೇಶಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕಳೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮೆಡಿಸಿನ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ BSc ಹಾನರ್ನ ಪಡೆದಿರುವಂತಹ ಇವರು ರೋಟರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ 10 ವರ್ಷ ಅನುಭವವನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮಣಿಪಾಲ್ ಮಹಿಳಾ ಸಮಾಜನಲ್ಲಿ 2 ಬಾರಿ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರಾಗಿ ಹಾಗೂ ಫೌಂಡರ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆಗಿ ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನು ಸಲ್ಲಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಉಡುಪಿ ಸಂಗೀತ ಸಭಾ, ರಾಗಧನ, ಸರಿಗಮ, ಕನೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ವಿತ್ ಕನ್ನಡ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆಗಿ ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನು ಸಲ್ಲಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮೇಡಮ್, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪರಿಚಯವನ್ನು ನಾನು ಜನರಿಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. ಹೀಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ನಾನು ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಹತ್ರ ಅವರ ಲೈಫ್ ಜರ್ನಿಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ನಾವು ಕೇಳುವಂಥದ್ದು ಅವರ ಬಾಲ್ಯದ ಜರ್ನಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರ ಲೈಫ್ ಜರ್ನಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುವಂಥದ್ದು ಅವರ ಬಾಲ್ಯದಿಂದಲೇ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬಾಲ್ಯದ ಜರ್ನಿ ಹೇಗಿದ್ವು, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬಾಲ್ಯದ ದಿನಗಳನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಹಂಚ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದಾ?
I was born in Andhra Pradesh, in Rajamandri, but most of my childhood was spent in Maharashtra, in Pune. I was lucky to have studied in different schools. That is, one was a Catholic school, and then was a Parsi school, and then was a Hindu college. So I was always acquainted and already knew the different cultures and there were rituals and their spiritual philosophy right when I was in school as a school girl. I think after childhood was very nice. My parents, I come from a defense family, so we were never stationed in one place. So I had always that passion to travel, and we were always taught that we should be very bold and adventurous, and I think that's what made my life very interesting even later on.
Okay, so ಟ್ರಾವೆಲಿಂಗ್ನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ಯಾಷನನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಾನು ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಕೇಳುವಂಥದ್ದು, ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಹಾಬೀಸ್ಗಳಿದ್ವು ನಿಮಗೆ? ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಹಾಬೀಸ್ಗಳಿದ್ದಾವೆ ಕೂಡ?
I think we come from a music family, so my passion was music. I had learnt sitar from very famous Abdul Karim Khan. That is, I think in Mangalore he is very famous. His son, Mr. Rafiq Khan. So I learned for about 7 years sitar from him. But later on I think I couldn't continue, and my other passion was always reading. Of course, as a child I used to read a lot Chandamama, and then that habit continued to read mythological stories from different magazines to my grandmother, who was illiterate. And then slowly I came to the phase of a teenager where I loved Milton Boone, and moreover that I think encouraged or more interested in seeing. I think I should also travel and see many countries and come to know their culture and food habits and so on. And the next phase, of course, book reading continued. Then the other hobbies are traveling, as I said, and I think I wrote 2-3 articles for Taranga, and also a book in German. That is along with my friend, and that is mythological. That heading goes as gods considered as in India, animals considered as gods in India. It is not published because lack of funds, and I hope one day we both will be able to fund it and publish it.
ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ವಿಶ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ವೆರಿ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್. ಅದು ಪಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಕೂಡ ಆಗಲಿ, ನಮಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಓದಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಅವಕಾಶ ಕೂಡ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಏನು ಅಂತ ಅಂದರೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ಯಾಷನ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹಾಬೀಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ. ಸೊ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇನ್ಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ ಯಾರು?
I think throughout my life was my father, who was also those days itself he was a graduate from Gindi Engineering College, Chennai, and he was far ahead in his thoughts to his times itself. He was very much impressed and influenced by Western thoughts and Western culture. So he gave us all the freedom and to decide. I think most of the decisions in our life I have taken myself, and I think that I attribute to my father. The second thing is, I come from a defense and very forward family, but I got married to Dr. Iyengar, Tamilian from Mysore, who came from a very orthodox and a superstitious family. So it was just a contrast, but I think I still consider the other inspiration in my life later on to lead a life was my mother-in-law. She was very orthodox and followed all the rituals, and she didn't eat in anyone's house unless she cooked herself, all these. But still I felt that when it came to major issues, she was quick and accepted the decisions according to the reality or what is practical. That I felt that it is even a graduate or a doctorate, even nowadays they don't accept so easily as she did, and that for that I always feel that from younger generation, I think when I actually come with the younger generation, I should always think of my mother-in-law and accept things as they are, rather than saying no, it is different or what I say is correct.
Okay, so ma'am, ಮದುವೆ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ಮಹಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದಿಂದ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ತೀರಾ. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಪರಿಸರ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಭಾಷೆ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೊಸತು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಹೇಗೆ ಹೊಂದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋದ್ರಿ?
Yeah, the other hobby actually was languages.
Okay.
And I was luckily nature gave me that opportunity. That is, my mother tongue is Telugu. Then I was married to a Tamilian, and I studied in Maharashtra, so Marathi was my language. And then afterwards, later on, I went to Germany, where I worked. So German was my other addition as a foreign language. So when I came to Karnataka, I think it was little easy for me because the base was my Telugu, and as I said, I love to learn languages. And along with my children, I think I really enjoyed learning Kannada. I went to write and to read also, and some of the books I read are not very difficult, literature, but I am very fond of listening to all the speeches when they really inspire in Kannada language.
ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇನ್ನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜರ್ಮನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ, ನೀವು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀರಾ ಜರ್ಮನ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೈ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಹೋಮ್ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ 1966 ನೀವು ಜರ್ಮನಿಗೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಪ್ರಯಾಣನ ಬೆಳೆಸಿದ್ರಿ. ಸೊ ಆ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಊರಿಂದ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಊರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದೇ ಕಷ್ಟ ಅಂತಿದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಿಂದ ಜರ್ಮನ್ಗೆ ಹೋದ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ನಿಜಕ್ಕೂ ಅದ್ಭುತ. ಸೊ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ
where should I start? That is, I was offered a job in Munich University, that they call it München.
Okay.
It is called Pharmazeutische Arzneimittel. That is pharmacy along with medicine with plants. So I was offered a job of a research assistant, and my father said, yes, you can go and explore what you can do there. So I was, my ticket was booked, and I got the ticket, and I went to the airport, and I was really enthusiastic. I had no fear, because maybe ignorance is bliss sometimes. And we found after going to the airport, they said, no, you can't travel, madam, because you don't have a visa.
Okay.
And that time we didn't know what visa was.
Okay.
So I was wondering, I have a ticket and passport and the letter that I got employed. He said, no, but you should have a visa. So that was the first experience where I learnt that there is something like visa. And then the second, the journey to Munich was in the Lufthansa, and that was my first flight, and I was really little nervous, but at the same time excited to see through window what I can see. And it was all, I think by the time we flew around Turkey or something, it was already dark. And they all said, no, in Munich it is, it is snowing, it is very cold and all. But I said, I think in the early morning it was so much sunshine above the clouds. I said, oh, it's so nice. I just wore a sari, not even a sweater.
Okay.
And I didn't take any food what they were offering us, because I thought I didn't have any foreign exchange. I had just little, so I thought I must save it. and couples sitting next to me were Australians. The flight was coming from Australia. So they said, I think they noticed that I was not saying anything, even fruit juice. So they said, no, everything is free, you take it. Yeah. And that gave me the strength. Yes, I said, okay, thank you. And these two experiences I can never forget. That was my first introduction to a foreign land.
ಓಕೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಒಂದು ದೇಶದಿಂದ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದರೆ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ನಮಗೆ ಹೊಸ ಹೊಸ ಸವಾಲುಗಳನ್ನು ಎದುರಿಸಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಅದು ಫುಡ್ ಇದಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಈಗ ತಾನೇ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ, ಮತ್ತು ಅದು ಭಾಷೆಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟದಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಇದಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಕೇಳುವಂಥದ್ದು, ನಾವು ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಫಾರಿನ್ಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ನ ನಾವು ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ?
Yeah, that is, I think at present, if suppose one of you this generation travels, I don't think they have to face much of any problem, because now it is global. You have food, you have either Italian food to Mexican food to Chinese. So I don't think, but you should imagine my experience of 1966, where India was still unknown much, and India was something like a dream for Germans. And they had lot of respect, and that is because they feel that we have lot of culture, and a country, an old country with lot of values. And so for me, I think the best part was I came from a family where my father was like an encyclopedia. So all the questions what they used to ask, a lot of questions are regarding religion, food, customs, and why, because they won't be just satisfied if I say, oh, it is like that. They say, why should it be though? So I think to a certain extent I could satisfy that, because I used to ask my father also, and he would always explain me why the customs are maintained, or the traditions. So I think when a girl now goes, there won't be any problem. But for me it was difficult, but at the same time I think I was something special, which I enjoyed, because for them I was a Indian girl with a much Indianness, and always wearing a sari and a blouse. I think I stayed 7 years and I never wore any other dress except sari.
ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಎಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ನೀವು ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಮ್ಯೂನಿಕ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಬೀಂಗ್ ಅ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ವುಮನ್, ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ವುಮನ್ ಮ್ಯೂನಿಕ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗಿತ್ತು?
Yeah, as I said, in the university, I mean, I was also considered like a student while I was young, and all the Germans along with me were colleagues, the girls. I could learn a lot from them. They were always interested in Indian culture. At the same time, I was interested in, because just then the war was over, and Germany was booming up economically and also with the development. So I think it was a nice opportunity for me to learn from them how the war was, their experience, and because of the conversations I could learn German very well, fluently, and that was a big advantage for me, that I went at a young age and I was ready to accept them about their life and still maintain my ideas and my lifestyle.
ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ 1972 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಒಲಿಂಪಿಕ್ ಅನ್ನ ಹೋಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ. ಸೊ
I know, I was a hostess.
Yes. ಸೊ ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಹೇಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ?
Yeah, it was naturally it was a pride to think that I am representing India, and they had unfortunately I don't have the costume which I had worn those. It is a Bavarian dress.
Okay.
So we were about 7 to 8 girls, and we had to just take care of the Indian team. Yeah, and we felt very homely, because after a long time we were with the Indians. Indians, and we applauded for whatever they had. But the worst experience was that bombing in 1972. Israeli bombed during the Olympic Games, and that was as a disaster.
ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಶಿಪ್ ಜರ್ನಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಡ್ರೀಮ್ ಕಮ್ ಟ್ರೂ ಮೂಮೆಂಟ್ ಅದು, ಸೊ ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ?
That is again in 1966. I boarded the ship in Marseille, that is France.
Okay.
Yeah, and we sailed through Mediterranean Sea, and halt at Port Said, that is Egypt, and then we come to Suez Canal, and you know, my geography was also one of my favorite subjects in school. So
Okay.
it was just thrilled to think that I am passing through Suez Canal, which I never imagined that I would go pass through the Suez Canal, and I imagined Suez Canal being so wide, but it's just a narrow canal where you see on both the sides, you see the two countries, that is Saudi Arabia and Yemen and Oman. These are the countries which you see. Then slowly from the Suez Canal you come to the Red Sea, and from Red Sea you join the Gulf of Aden, and then you come to the Arabian Sea. And even this ship journey was very nice, and even as I said, in 1966 there was very few girls travelled alone, so I was like a heroine in the ship. The captain, everybody, they were at my service, and what I would feel, the Indian food or I want, and it was thrill naturally. And also the Aden port, which we also embark not on the shore. Then when the small boats, they just all come around, and those days electronic goods and synthetic saris and all were a craze. So they want marks and dollars. So of course I also bought few saris for my relatives and myself, and I was happy that it was already I think 9th day. And I was already happy that we are going to reach Bombay. But when we entered Arabian Sea, I think in 1966 there was a big cyclone, and with the 64 to around 89 knots, which is very, very high. That was in Indian Ocean, and that effect was also on our ship. And it was really amazing. It's no more beautiful, calm sea which you really enjoy, saying that the sea is so silent and so calm and it gives peace. It was so aggressive, and it looked as though it engulfs us at any time. But thank God our captain was very capable, and after I think around 12 hours he announced that now we are quite safe and we are going to reach.
ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅಂದರೆ 11 ದಿನ ತಗೊಂಡಿತ್ತ ಅದು ಜರ್ನಿ
From Marseille to Bombay, yes, 11 days. Because we halt, that is in port side we halted about for 6-7 hours. And then even Gulf of Aden we also there, about 7-8 hours. And then we come to the Bombay.
ವೀಕ್ಷಕರೇ, ಇದೀಗ ಸೇವಾ ಸಂಚಯ ರೋಟರಿ ನಿಮಗಾಗಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ವಿರಾಮದ ನಂತರ ಮಾತುಕತೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮುಂದುವರಿಯುತ್ತದೆ. ವಿರಾಮದ ನಂತರ ಸೇವಾ ಸಂಚಯ ರೋಟರಿ ನಿಮಗಾಗಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. ನಾವು ಗಣ್ಯರೊಡನೆ ಮಾತನ್ನ ಮುಂದುವರಿಸೋಣ. ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನಂತ ಅಂದರೆ ನನಗೆ ಇದು ಒಂದು ಕುತೂಹಲ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸಿದ್ದು ಏನಂತ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಮ್ಯೂನಿಕ್ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇತ್ತು ಕೂಡ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಂದರೆ ವರ್ಕ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಅ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ವುಮನ್ ಆಗಿನೋ ಅಥವಾ ನಿಮ್ಮದೇ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ಸನ್ನು ಅಥವಾ ಆಂಟ್ರಪ್ರಿನರ್ಶಿಪ್ಪನ್ನು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದಿತ್ತು. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಯಾಕೆ ಗೃಹಿಣಿಯಾಗಿ ಉಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರಿ ಅಥವಾ ಯಾಕೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ?
I was never interested in business. Yeah?
Okay.
So mostly I was interested, as you said, academics. Okay. But as you say, circumstances, my father-in-law expired, and I had my mother-in-law and two sisters who have to get married from my husband. So we thought we have to come back, and that's how we landed up in Manipal. And that time Dr. T.M. Pai, actually it was very nice that he told me that as you have already worked and educated, why don't you join medicine? And I'll give you placement. But then I said, I asked myself, for what have you come back? I have come back to share the responsibility. So there's no point in being a career woman. So I said I'll remain as a housewife, and that's how I chose to be housewife.
ಓಕೆ 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 ಸೊ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಏನಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ನೀವು ಆಗ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಸಾರಿಯನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವ ಉಡುಗೆಯನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತೊಡ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಾಗ ಅಂತ. ನಾನು ಕೇಳುವಂಥದ್ದು ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಫಾರಿನ್ಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಅಥವಾ ಇವನ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲೇ ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ತುಂಬಾನೇ ನಾವು ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಕಲ್ಚರನ್ನು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋದನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ನಾವು ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಕಲ್ಚರಿನ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟರ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ನಾವು ಫಾರಿನ್ಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ?
Of course, now I think it's very practical. Life has changed. It is much faster than before. And do you need maybe, because from childhood itself, when you are born itself, now you are used to the Western dresses. Yeah.
Yes.
So you can't expect again just because when you go abroad you would suddenly change into saris. Yeah. So I think we have to accept that the working women, or it is much more comfortable. But I only feel that what I have experienced from my friends, when they come, they feel very sad that when they come back to India, they say 20 years before when we came to India, we used to see color in India. But now we see always the grey jeans or blue jeans and t-shirts. We see no more that color what India represented. So I think whenever there is a chance, I think the generation should, at least for some time, some occasions where it doesn't disturb, they should still maintain a sari or an Indian dress. I think the foreigners, I think they like you not to change. They always say don't change, you just take up what the ideas what we have, technology or anything, but don't lose your culture.
ಎಸ್ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ. ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನಂತ ಅಂದರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಎಂಪವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯ ಏನು? ವುಮನ್ ಎಂಪವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ.
As I said, I was never very particular about a business, or I didn't have any aim saying that I should lead or I should be a boss of some thing. So I never thought of much of it. But what disturbs me is this, because of the career and all, the women, that what they say equality. I think they don't understand actually what is equality, because equality means it is not something like mathematics formula. We say it is A is equal to B. Yeah, it can never happen, because the nature itself has not shown that it is everything is equal. We are all equal but different. So that's what we should think. And so I think equality means understanding a relationship, maintaining relationships, and still continuing your identity and understand each other as a man and a woman. We have, nature itself has made us for certain chores or whatever you say, we suit for that. And I think we should respect nature and say that equality doesn't mean just because that's what happens now. Yeah, why a man says what you are doing, I can do it. And the same way I think the lady also, I think it's more nowadays the women, I'm sorry to say I am also women, I think the women expect, I think, more from the man rather than the man expects from the women. I think the man has, I think, little sober down now, and I think the women are more aggressive now.
ಎಸ್. ಓಕೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಇನ್ನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಲೈಫಿಂದ ಈಚೆ ರೋಟರಿ ಜರ್ನಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ, ನಿಮಗೆ ರೋಟರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ 10 ವರ್ಷ ಅನುಭವ ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು. ಸೊ ಈ ನಿಮ್ಮ 10 ವರ್ಷದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಹಂಚಿಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ಬಹುದು?
Yes, I am very thankful to Rotary, because after the sudden demise of my husband, which was very untimely, I was really in a shock, and I didn't know, actually, being a housewife, so I didn't know anything about finances or how to manage the other things which are, everything was naturally taken care by my husband. And then I joined, I should say here, I should thank one of our leaders, or you say, the Dr. Girija. She just introduced me. She said, you just come, Rooma, and she introduced me to Rotary. And it was nice meeting people, and nobody spoke anything about, exactly how the life I am facing. That was and no questions much asked, which gave me I think a relief that I don't have to be always in that mood. And they were always encouraging me, saying that why don't you take up this responsibility, or that some of the projects which kept me busy. And I should be really thankful, and I got to know my personality also. I knew many people from different as you say, bankers and doctors and so many other avenues, which may be just as a housewife, that would have been restricted to only certain sect of people.
ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. ಸೊ ರೋಟ್ರಿಯಿಂದ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತದೆ. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನಂತ ಅಂದರೆ ಮಹಿಳೆಯರ ಪರ್ಸ್ನಾಲಿಟಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ರೋಟ್ರಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಹಾಯಕಾರಿ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ?
Yes, because Rotary is such that actually the motto of service, Rotary is itself service.
Yes, yes.
And
yes.
I think women, I say that she's we can say a model for service.
Yes.
Because her life starts itself like servicing, just from, I mean, it's a selfish, but still, right? I mean, milking the child.
Oh,
right, that in itself is a service to the child who is born, otherwise the child can't grow.
Yes,
So
yes,
and
yes.
her whole life, I think, is already inborn in her, that nature to service. So
Yes.
I think Rotary really encourages, and we have that possibility of I mean, doing service through Rotary organization, than in what I can say individually do it. And as we become the member, and as ladies, I think we can do a lot of things, because we understand actually what the common man needs, or the other women need,
ಓಕೆ
needs of the society.
ಓಕೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಇನ್ನು ನೀವು ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ರೋಟ್ರಿ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ನೊಂದಿಗೆ ಕೈ ಜೋಡಿಸಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಸೊ ಈ ಜೈಪುರ್ ಲೆಗ್ನಂತಹ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಏನಿವೆ, ಅವು ಜನರಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟರ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ? ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನಂತಂದರೆ ಇನ್ನು ಜೈಪುರ್ ಲೆಗ್ನಂತಹ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಗಳು ರೋಟ್ರಿ ಮೂಲಕ ಬರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ದಾವೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ರೀತಿಯ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ?
Yes, I think naturally it's a big project. It costs a lot of funds.
Okay.
But I think Rotary Manipal, if I can say, it has a lot of advantages. That is, Manipal itself has in the only radius of 8 to 10 kilometers.
Okay.
And it has got all institutions where most of the women are, there's lot of awareness in them, and they want to do some service to the society, give back to the society something. So with these thoughts, I think Rotary Manipal is able to do many projects which are very giant projects.
Okay, okay, okay.
So they had given also to the government hospital to detect tuberculosis, which was not aware, that is to the government hospital. That was a big project. And then was a hand, when you lose a hand, you can also, artificial hand is attached.
Okay, okay, okay.
And that was I mean 2 years back, that was a big project.
Okay.
And now they have taken up this Jaipur Lake.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
we are on the way. That will be in April.
Okay.
And yes, so
Yes.
I hope that will be all the big success, because mobility is also important as mental
Definitely,
health.
definitely.
Yeah. So unless you are mobile, you won't have the mental health in a good shape.
Yes, yes, yes.
So it will be very nice if we can make a man walk.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
and be
definitely.
independent.
ಮತ್ತು ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನಂತ ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ರೀತಿಯ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ಗಳೇನಿವೆ, ಈ ರೀತಿಯ ಮೇಜರ್ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ಗಳೇನಿವೆ, ಅವು ರೋಟ್ರಿ ಮೂಲಕ ಆಗುವಂಥದ್ದು ನಮಗೂ ಏನೋ ಒಂಥರ ಖುಷಿಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕಂತಂದರೆ ಈ ರೀತಿಯ ಸಮಾಜಮುಖಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದಷ್ಟು ಜನರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಸಹಾಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತು ನೀಡಿದ್ದವರಿಗೆ ಆ ಸಹಾಯ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಅದೇ ಒಂಥರ ಸಮಾಧಾನ. ಎಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನಂತ ಅಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಸಂಚಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ರೇಣು ಜಯರಾಮ್ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಮಣಿಪಾಲ್ ರೋಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಮಹಿಳೆಯರನ್ನ ನೋಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಕೂಡ ಮಣಿಪಾಲ್ ರೋಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ 10 ವರ್ಷ ಅನುಭವವನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿರುವಂತವರು. ಸೊ ಈ ಮಣಿಪಾಲ್ ರೋಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಹಿಳೆಯರ ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೇಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೋಡಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಂತ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ?
As I said, I think I have already told
yes.
before. Yeah, I think even abroad I had visited actually in Switzerland 2 Rotary clubs.
Okay.
And when I told them there were 5 presidents, women presidents, they were shocked. They said,
Okay.
5 lady presidents, they couldn't imagine.
Okay.
So that's how they said, we all can never think that in India ladies can take such active part in Rotary. And I think the Rotary here, especially in Rotary Manipal, even our men, I think they encourage a lot that we ladies should take active part, and they are a big support to us.
Okay.
And that's how I think without their support, I don't think one can do. Yeah, it's always
Definitely.
mutual. So
Yes.
so they always encourage that ladies also should come forward and take active part. And I'm proud to say that our district, Udupi district, is going to have 22-23. The district governor, the first lady district governor,
Okay.
Dr. H.J. Gauri. from Manipal.
Manipal. Okay,
Yes.
okay, okay. So proud moment ಅದು.
Yes, yes.
ಓಕೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಇನ್ನು ಕೊನೆಯದಾಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ಯಂಗರ್ ಜನರೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸಂದೇಶವನ್ನು ಕೊಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಏನನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು?
I think if the younger generation, if they listen to this, they will say, oh, all these old people, they will be giving a big advice. I think they must be hearing a lot of advices. But from my side, I say that I really appreciate and admire very good qualities of younger generation. Especially I feel they are very tolerant and they give lot of space to others, and they are not judgmental, and they accept other person as they are. And even if they are different, I think they ignore the other part which doesn't suit them. They don't stamp them saying that, oh, he is, you know, good, or he is anything, he is stupid, or, you know, they don't make such usually comments, which my generation was like that. Oh, even in looks, or they used to always feel a little you know, if you lack something of a talent or something. But now I think the younger generation, they just don't bother. They just see what interests in them in the other person, and they just take it and other things as you know, not interested in that. I think that's a very good point. But the other part of younger generation is, I meant in even now, not only when I stayed, students generation. I feel student generation nowadays, I think because they can afford, I feel they don't lead a student life. Abroad, even now, a student lives like a student. The society respects a student to lead a very simple life, humble, and with economically also not much, they don't very good. The parents don't support, they just pay the fees and a very minimum amount for their living as such. So they don't spend much money or on their attire, you know, or shopping, or they don't think of those things. Most of the students, at the most, when they have a party, they take one beer and maybe a bread and sandwich, and that's all. But now I feel our students, as soon as especially of the upper class or who can little afford, and a party has to be in a restaurant which is of a 4-star, and then you should have a drink along with that, and something exotic food, not our idli sambar or you know, vada or dosa. It has to be Chinese, it has to be Italian, or something. Only then they feel that, oh, you are modern and you are or in a style, you know, you suit the generation. I think this is, I think it's not a very nice feeling. You know, you should feel that you are a student, and there's a lot, I mean, there's life still to enjoy all that, you know. Once you earn, once you become mature, I think there's something left to enjoy. And if you finish everything before you are hardly 25-30, I think the life, you know, you don't enjoy, everything becomes, yes, saturated. So I feel it's nice to have a simple and more focus on for what you the purpose of studying. But of course there's another angle to see that we see when we can afford, when I can have a luxury life, why should have a simple life? So that's another angle. The students can, I mean, it's left to them what they choose. But on the whole, I don't say that the younger generation always as we as older generation always say, oh, this younger generation, they don't have respect, they don't. It's not true, you know. I have seen in my experience that they are very helpful when they see elders. Naturally at home they may not be. There is, I think in Kannada, one gade that you are so good to others, but at home you are like one you know, demon, you know, that's, yes. I mean, something like that.
Urige upakari manege mari.
Yeah. So I think when you go out, the younger generation, they are very helpful, and they don't insult anyone. I think I appreciate them. I'm quite happy with the younger generation.
ಎಸ್ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್.
Yeah.
ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೂಲಕ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜರ್ನಿಯನ್ನು ತಿಳಿದುಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂಥದ್ದು ನಮಗೂ ಏನೋ ಒಂಥರ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆಯ ವಿಷಯ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಬಹುಶಃ ತಪ್ಪಾಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್.
ದೆನ್ ಎಸ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಧ್ವನಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್. ಎಸ್ ವೀಕ್ಷಕರೇ, ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ರೋಟರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ತಮ್ಮನ್ನು ತಾವು ತೊಡಗಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಸಮಾಜಮುಖಿ ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನು ಸಲ್ಲಿಸಿದಂತಹ ಗಣ್ಯರನ್ನ ನಿಮಗೆ ಪರಿಚಯಿಸುವುದಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಗಣ್ಯರನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ಸಂಚಿಕೆಯ ಮೂಲಕ ನಿಮಗೆ ಪರಿಚಯಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ ಕೂಡ. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಈ ವಾರ ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವು ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ವಿಶ್ವ ಮಹಿಳಾ ದಿನಾಚರಣೆಯನ್ನು ಆಚರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದ್ವಿ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ವಿಶೇಷ ಮಹಿಳೆಯರನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ನಿಮಗೆ ಪರಿಚಯಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಮೂಲಕ. ಸೊ ಕೊನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ರೂಮಾ ಅಯ್ಯಂಗಾರ್ ಅವರ ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನು ಕೇಳಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನನಗನ್ಸಿದ್ದಿಷ್ಟೇ, ನಿನಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಹೆಸರು ಬೇಕೆ, ಸ್ತ್ರೀ ಎಂದರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಸಾಕಿ ಅನ್ನುವಂತಹ ಅದ್ಭುತ ಸಾಲುಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಪೂರ್ಣ ವಿರಾಮ ಇಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಮುಂದಿನ ಸಂಚಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬರು ಅತಿಥಿಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ಭೇಟಿಯಾಗ್ತೇನೆ. ಅಂಟಿಲ್ ದೆನ್ ಕೀಪ್ ವಾಚಿಂಗ್ ಯು ಚಾನಲ್. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.